In order for you to be approved as a child of God, do you know that you need to walk in a way that's aligned with the will of the Lord? That is the right way to walk with God. When you are walking in a way that is aligned with the will of the Lord, that signifies that you are now walking in the right way that is aligned with God. Sometimes you might be walking, but you don't even know that this lane that you are following, this line that you are following, this specific area that you are following is not even aligned with the will of God. And that is going to cause you a waste of time, waste of journey in the process. Now, you need to understand that as a servant of God, there are specific areas in which you need to dwell. There are specific habits in which you need to apply in order for your job to be accomplished with God, in order for your work to be assessed in a way that's aligned with the will of the Lord, in which you need to know in order to avoid waste of time in the journey of salvation. As a servant of God, you need to understand that God is a God of mercy, God is a God of peace, God is a God of war, God is a God of justice. You need to understand it. That is why I say, I will have mercy on who I will have mercy on. I will have compassion on who I will have compassion on. It is not of him that willeth, not him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. Now, if you want to walk with God, there are specific ways that you need to follow that is aligned with the will of the Lord. Number one thing that God needs most in order for you to apply, if you want to walk in a way that's aligned with the will of the Lord, is your time. When we are talking about time, specific time, we are talking about a value time, a quality time. It is not that you want to study your Bible and you will study your Bible in a time that you don't have nothing to do. No. You schedule your Bible, you schedule your prayer time. Even if you have something to do, when the time comes, you have to leave those things and you walk. You do what you are supposed to do in the circle, in the altar of God. And when you are doing this, it signifies that you are now walking in a way that's aligned with the will of thy Father. Second thing that the Lord needs most is your heart. You can't do anything without your heart is not aligned. Now, the Bible is speaking that confession is of the mouth, but salvation is of the heart. Confession is of the mouth, but salvation is of the heart. When you are saying that, Father, I love you, Father, I have faith in you, I depend on you, I do everything. When you are saying those things, God is not looking at your mouth that you are saying it. But God is looking at your heart, in which the saying is coming from. If your word of the mouth and the heart aligns together. When you are saying you love the brother, you love the sister, you love this, you love that. When you are saying all sorts of these words, God is not looking at your mouth, but God is looking at your heart. If that saying of the heart is aligned with thy mouth. And the Bible speaks in the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 28 verse 9. Let's read together. And thou, Solomon my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all hearts and understandeth all the imagination of thy thoughts. If thou seekest him, if thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. Now, this is David saying to Solomon. He says, Solomon, my son, the God that you are serving, the God of our forefathers, the God of our father, the God which I serve, Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob, this is how the God is. If you want to follow God in a way that is aligned with God, now, Solomon, you need to apply your heart. He said, the God that you are serving, God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob, the God is a God that searcheth all hearts. The God is a God that knoweth all thoughts. Solomon, if you want to walk in a way that you align with God, and if you want God to be with you, you are to seek him, and he will be found of thee. And if you forsake him, he will forsake thee, because it's a God of justice. It's a straightforward God. Now you need to understand all these things. David was saying to Solomon, he was lecturing Solomon on how to follow God. And these are the things that you need to know. God is a God of justice. God is a God that searcheth all hearts. Now there are so many of us that are going to church, but still yet the heart is not in the church. When you are serving God and your heart is not with God, when you are serving God and your heart is not a means of salvation, you see, it's not in the altar of God, Sam, you just wasting your time. You serve God in a way that's aligned with God through your heart. Confession is of the mouth, salvation is of the heart. The Bible speaking, it said, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, 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 shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but they that do the will of thy Father. Those that do the will of thy Father. He said, not everyone that call upon me, that shout upon me, Lord, 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 shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but they that do the will of my Father. You need to understand this. Number one area that you need to apply to do the will is of your heart. Your heart matters a lot, because your heart is the connecting point between you and the Father. So understand all these things, child of God. So if you want to walk with God in a way that is aligned with God, you have to align your heart in a way that's aligned with the Father, and the glory of the Lord will be found in thee. God bless you, child of God. I believe this message touched away your life. What do you learn on this message? Leave a comment below. Subscribe to this channel. God bless you.